Hello, my name is Roddy Yarr. I'm the University of St Andrews Environment and Energy Manager. We have hundreds of acres of land across the university. We're integrated within the town in the university, and we also have farmland that is farmed by tenant farmers. Our approach to biodiversity has been to understand the scale and complexity of the biodiverse landscape that we live in St Andrews, the built environment and how that impacts on the nature of biodiversity in the town, in the built environment, in the gardens and grounds, in the wilder areas, and also at the farmland level as well. So what we've tried to do is baseline our understanding in terms of species, fauna, flora, and we've got a very good understanding. And what we started to do right from the start was to put that knowledge on our website so that staff and students can understand what we're doing. But also at a project level, our design teams, our architects, our contractors can see where there are more important areas, where there perhaps are protected species, but also how much grass is in an area, how much farmed land is in an area, how much hard stand is available in an area, and so they can understand the linkages between developments, because we're a growing university, areas that we want to protect, and areas that are heavily used by students and staff to go about their daily business.
My name's Colin Reid. I'm Sustainability Manager for Glasgow Housing Association, and Glasgow Housing Association has about 45,000 houses across the city of Glasgow, although we're part of the Wheatley Group and will be spreading across the central belt of Scotland. When it comes to energy efficiency, this is a keen priority of GHA, and specifically fuel poverty. And we've identified that approximately 30% of our tenants are in fuel poverty, which of course is an adjunct of general poverty, and it's something that we're very focused on. With that in mind, we're looking at the performance of the envelope of the building as well as the performance of the components inside it. We wouldn't be looking for extra complexity. In fact, we're keen that the systems can be easily integrated and don't increase the requirement for repairs.
I'm Catherine Dupre. I'm Energy and Climate Change Manager for Health Facilities Scotland, so we support all of the NHS Scotland boards in achieving energy and climate change objectives for their estates. We've already done that on a couple of sites. One site in particular, Girvan Community Hospital down in Ayrshire, already has a very viable wind turbine project which is generating about 20% of its on-site electricity. And we have a number of biomass schemes that are already in operation and a large number planned across the estate, which is going to drastically reduce our carbon emissions. We've also been doing things like ground source heat pumps on a couple of our sites, and we've got a programme of solar PV being rolled out across the estate as well. We've got further wind turbine projects in planning on Shetland, one down towards the State Hospital, so it's something that we do look at. Having said all of that, our first focus still is reducing our energy demand. That is our number one priority. Water saving is of big importance to us. We've seen quite a big increase. We were doing very, very well in our water consumption, and we've actually seen quite a big increase in recent years, and that's been down to newer and tougher legislation around infection control, which obviously infection control is obviously our prime concern. So because of new regulations that have been brought in, we've actually seen our water consumption go up. There's a big programme happening right now across all these states to identify ways that we can reduce our water consumption. Unfortunately, one of the things that we can't do is grey water systems. because of a potential risk of Legionella and a potential risk of Pseudomonas, so we don't consider those systems. But we are looking at other ways of saving energy saving water right across the estate. We've been doing a big programme around leak detection and getting rid of that. We've been doing a big programme around replacement of water meters, getting better water metering in place. We've got a big programme around water awareness going on amongst staff to try and get our water consumption down. It's a big cost to the NHS, and it is incredibly important, but infection control always comes first.
Hi, I'm Howard Jeffrey of Skanska. I am Senior Innovation Manager. Yes, Skanska have been implementing building information modelling. The acronym is BIM, which most people are probably familiar with now. And on one particular project we were able to reduce, using BIM, the waste of brick and blockwork by an additional 5%, and plasterboard waste was reduced by a further 12% over and above our allowance for it. So it's been really useful, and I think BIM as a process opens a whole world of areas for feasibility, research, pilot investigations, etc., etc.
So looking at electric vehicles, we have carried out a green fleet review for the vehicles that we operate, and within that fleet review we've made sure that we minimise the carbon emissions of the vehicles that we operate to transport staff to and from around the estate. We operate 3 low carbon vehicles for commuting for staff going across the estate. Our ground staff operate an electric vehicle. It's a mega truck that the gardeners use to transport materials to and from. They charge that locally at lunchtime and overnight, and that works very successfully for that use, largely because it's low mileage, it's low carbon, it's just within the town. It works very well for the guys, and they understand how to operate the vehicle. We're also working with Edinburgh College on rolling out electric charging points to St Andrews as well, and that will come forward in the next few months, hopefully.
With regards to information communication technology, or ICT, Glasgow Housing Association has a digital inclusion strategy which we're putting into effect as we speak. That will provide free Wi-Fi to our high-rise blocks and in time to all our tenants. The reason for doing that is because we want to improve access to digital services. That allows people to reduce the costs of accessing those services, but also provides better access to educational services and allows them to get out and participate in the new digital economy. It also will enable us to participate in Glasgow's smart cities and the new funding that has been provided for that purpose.
So in terms of ICT, we have embraced ICT as a means of engaging with staff and students across a number of different areas. Our building management systems are vital to how we operate our buildings for our own maintenance teams, so they know the status of buildings before there are problems reported, so that we can monitor and track and trend the consumption within each of those buildings, particularly for electricity, but also for gas and for water. We've combined our ICT systems with automatic meter reading so that we are able to understand where the consumption is going at any particular point and preempt issues and track and monitor trends. We make that information available to staff and to students so they can see real time or day +1 where the consumption in their buildings is, and they can query that and they can refer information to their teams, if you like. So it's a two-way street. We give staff and students availability to the information, and they then disseminate that to their own staff and students. So that has a very good trickle effect.